There is a new initiative, though, which has been set up by the Joe Cox Foundation, and it wants to try and tackle this, and it's urging us to contact those who might be living on their own or shielding. Here's more from our home editor, Mark Easton.
7-year-old James is on a mission. Stepping outside his North London bubble, he's on a spacewalk in the lockdown void. Destination, next door. Objective, the delivery of seasonal goodwill.
Hello, James. You got my cards for
95-year-old Mick lives on his own, but feels connected to his community by small acts of COVID-safe kindness from neighbours, friends and visiting astronauts.
How important is it to have people looking out for you over Christmas?
very important, because if they sat here at home all the time and they couldn't get out, I don't know what I'd do.
Feelings of loneliness and isolation are always particularly acute at Christmas. But in the midst of the pandemic, a survey suggests that 1 person in 6 in Britain is dreading the festivities this year. So the Great Winter Get-Together is encouraging the country to rediscover the community spirit that blossomed during lockdown in the spring.
The Together campaign helped organise this year's birthday clap for the NHS and is supported by volunteering groups like the Scouts and Guides, religious leaders, businesses, charities and political leaders, all aiming to heal divides and bring the country closer together. Our COVID Christmas must be celebrated in bubbles, but for those feeling left out, it's hoped some spontaneous seasonal cheer might bring us all a little closer together. Mark Easton, BBC News.
Well, one of the people supporting this campaign is the actor Michael Sheen, who joins us now. Morning to you, Michael.
Good morning.
Lovely to see you this morning. Tell me, how do you feel you and we can make a difference?
Well, I think, this has been an extraordinary year, and this Christmas will be a Christmas like no other, really. A lot of people are feeling anxious about being on their own or not being in contact with anyone over Christmas, particularly on Christmas Day. And we know there is hope on the horizon because of the news about vaccines, but we've got some of the darkest and coldest months to get through yet. And so that Christmas spirit of goodwill and reaching out to people has never been more important, really. So the Together Coalition, which is literally hundreds of organisations like the Royal Voluntary Service and the Joe Cox Foundation, are coming together to try and encourage people to make sure that no one feels alone this Christmas. And so this Christmas Together campaign is asking people to help in 2 ways, really. One is to reach out to someone you think would like to hear from you this Christmas. We all know someone. There may be a neighbour who's on their own or shielding, or a family member that you haven't been in touch with for a while. And to give them a call, have a chat. A lot of people playing Christmas games online, this year. So maybe invite someone to be a part of that. Or if it is an option, then maybe get together and go for a walk together or something like that. And if there isn't someone you can think of, but you'd still like to help, then you can get matched with someone through the NHS Volunteer Responder Programme. And you can go to the website, to the together.org.uk/Christmas Together website and get all the information on the NHS Volunteer Responder Programme if you're in England. And if you're in Wales, Scotland or Northern Ireland, you can get the information there on how you can volunteer in your area.
Oh, there's loads going on. And tell us a bit about Jeffrey, who is a gentleman that you had a chat with. So what did you speak to Jeffrey about?
Oh, my goodness. I was talking to Jeffrey yesterday. Jeffrey is 79, lovely gentleman. And he was telling me a lot of his stories, actually, were about the club in Tonopandi, his local club where he lives, where he met his wife 56 years ago now in that club at a dance. And they danced there every Saturday night for most of the years that they were married. He had a pint with Tom Jones there on the day that Tom Jones was going to be on Jukebox Jury. That night he was performing at the club and they had a pint together as the snow was falling outside. It was a wonderful story. And his wife Sylvia passed away just over a year ago, sadly. And so he was telling me about how on the weekend he was watching Dancing with the Stars, which he used to love to watch together with Sylvia. And he's got a little dog Badger now who keeps him company. And he said as he was watching Dancing with the Stars this weekend, it was bringing back all the memories of dancing with Sylvia over the years at the club. And he said that the tears were falling down my cheeks. And little Badger came up, put his paws on my shoulders and was licking the tears off my face for 40 minutes until I felt better, And stories like that, they just finish you off, don't they?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
you know, you tell that story and, you know, you can imagine the effect that one person can have on one other person. What should ordinary people do who just want to get involved and help in any way? Does it have to be a phone call? Can you just, you know, what can we do?
Yeah, well, I mean, you're right. Something that could seem very, very small to one person can make someone else's Christmas. You know, can really make a big difference. So if it is, you know, just try and think of someone who, you know, we all know someone who might really benefit from just a bit of contact, a bit of connection, and just to let them know that you are thinking of them. They're not on their own. And, you know, maybe it is a call and a chat, or like I say, you know, people are doing all kinds of different things, you know, so that they've picked up through the year about going online and playing games and all that kind of stuff. And if you can maybe meet up and go for a walk, if that's safe and that's an option, then that would be brilliant. But it's just to let people know that they're thought of, you know, particularly at this time of year, I think. I
think that's really important, Michael. We did something last Christmas. We spoke to a lovely old gentleman called Terence who'd been volunteering through Age UK. And I remember speaking to him on the sofa, and he said that, you know, the Age UK stats tell you that 850,000 people like Terence would spend Christmas Day on their own. And he told us that for 20 years, you know, he would sit crying into a turkey sandwich on Christmas Day, even though there were people on his street who, you know, he spoke to, but they didn't know how lonely he was. And it just makes you think, doesn't it? It sort of breaks your heart to think there are so many people like that who just need a phone call, a board game, someone saying hello to them, whatever it might be, makes a massive difference, particularly at this time of year.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, I know at Christmas time, you know, people have got so much to think about. And you know, with family and all kinds of things going on. And it can be difficult sometimes just to imagine that there might be someone so close, even as close as next door, you know, who hasn't got anyone with them and is on their own. And just being able to have that little bit of bandwidth to think about that, if you've got the chance, can make such a massive difference to people. I know, you know, there's already so much going on. Over the years, people locally to me have been putting on, you know, days, cooking meals for people and putting on events for people who are on their own. It's amazing to see the stuff that people do out there. And I know here in Neath Port Talbot, the Neath Port Talbot CBS do a community companions program, which obviously this year has had to go online, but was about getting people face to face and meeting up with people and chatting to them. It makes such a massive, massive difference, I think.
And it can be bad at this time of year, or tricky for people, certainly challenging. But this year, more than ever, is going to be tougher, isn't it, Michael? Yeah,
I mean, you know, I think people who've maybe not experienced what it feels like to be lonely or to feel isolated have felt it this year. You know, I know I have, and everybody I've spoken to has. And so, you know, for people who in you know, other years might have been on their own or feeling lonely, this year it's going to be even more extreme. And like I say, there is hope, because we know that there's light on the horizon with the really positive news around vaccines. But, you know, those dark, cold months over the Christmas period can be tough to get through at the best of times. And this year, you know, it's going to be a real challenge for us. But that kind of spirit that was there early on in lockdown, you know, with people reaching out, we need to kind of try and get back into that again. And like I say, people every year are doing extraordinary things all over the country to reach out and try and be there for people who are vulnerable. But this year, we really want to encourage everyone to just put that little bit of extra effort in to try and make sure that nobody feels alone this Christmas.
It's a really wonderful message, Mike. And can I also say thank you for proving that anybody who watched Stage, the backdrop behind you was your actual house. Thank you for proving that this morning.
Live from the set.
It's great to talk to you. Have a fantastic Christmas as well. Hopefully see you soon.
Thank you, Michael.
Isn't
that lovely? Bye-bye. Can you imagine getting a phone call from Michael Sheen? That fantastic voice coming down the phone.
Oh, it was wonderful.
Great.
I'm sure Jeffrey had a great 40-odd minutes on the phone with him.
Yeah, it is at 27 minutes past 8. And Nicola Sturgeon coming up on the programme in just a couple of minutes' time.
Right now, though, news, travel and weather, wherever you're watching this morning. We'll see you in a moment.